All right, in this video, I'm going to walk through the new 1099K rules that apply for 2022 and years going forward. And then at the very end, I'm going to show you an example of a tax return on where this or how this would apply. So first off, what is a 1099K? It's a tax form that gets filed to the IRS, and it also gets filed to the recipient of those that receive funds from like credit card processors. And it essentially kind of just lets the IRS know that, hey, Rob, you received, $10,000, and we want to make sure that shows up in your, tax return. And it's very similar, like I said, to the 1099 MISC and the 1099 NEC. So it's more of like an informational return, but the IRS tracks to make sure that people are kind of recording that on their tax return. So before 2022, the old rule was if you receive payments, right? So you're a business owner and you received 200 transactions or more, and those totaled more than $20,000, you would get a 1099K form. Well, what happened was people are getting payments. They may have been 100 transactions or less. So they might have been selling stuff on Etsy or eBay, and the total revenue was $17,000. These people aren't reporting that on their tax return. So the IRS said, all right, there's missed opportunities here. Let's lower the limit. So now the limit is $600, and they got rid of the 200 transactions. So you can have 10 transactions. You could have received $2,000 from eBay. Now you're going to get a 1099K, and the 1099K is going to be sent to you, and it's going to be sent to the IRS. So when you do your personal tax return, the IRS is going to expect to see at least $2,000 of business income on your tax return. So that's kind of the whole genesis of this 1099K, and the reason why the IRS kind of reduced the limit to $600. Now, where does this kind of 1099K apply to? Venmo, right? So if you receive payments from Venmo, from PayPal, from Etsy, Airbnb, Uber, Lyft, Amazon, all those type of companies, right? Credit card companies, right? MasterCard, Visa, you're going to get a 1099K if you got paid over $600, okay? Where it doesn't apply is Zelle. So if a business sent you a Zelle, you're not going to get something from Zelle. Like you're not going to get a 1099K from Zelle showing that you got paid over $600. But what's going to happen is if you were a business and you paid another business over $600, you got to issue a 1099 NEC or a 1099 MISC. So either way, the IRS is still going to know that you got paid over $600. It's just not going to be through the 1099K. It's going to be through this 1099 NEC or 1099 MISC. So what this 1099K looks like, you can Google it, but here's kind of like an example of what it looks like. And what these credit card processors, the Airbnbs, the Ubers, they're going to fill out every month that you got paid and the dollar amount that you got paid from them. Okay. And again, you're going to get a copy of this, and the IRS is going to get a copy of this. Now, in the example of the Zelle, here's an example of what a 1099 NEC is. Again, same thing. So the company that paid you a Zelle, right, or paid you via Zelle, they're going to fill out this form. They're going to put your name in here, your social security number, your business EIN. They're going to just note how much they paid you, right, in this non-employee compensation. So if you got paid $650, they're going to put that here. They're going to file one copy to the IRS, and one copy goes to you. So now the IRS has this form, right? So when you do your personal return, even if you got paid $650, the IRS is going to expect to see that somewhere on your tax return. Now, what's important here is going back to this example here with the whole 1099K is a lot of businesses or business owners, and I call, Uber drivers business owners or Lyft drivers or Airbnb host, right? You're running a business, is you don't want to commingle your personal and your business. So if you've been getting Zelle payments, right, from another business to your business for the, the services that you're performing, that's great. But if your friend is giving you payments, Zelle payments to your business, and maybe Zelle is not a good example, but like Venmo, right? You have a business Venmo account and your customers are paying you via Venmo, right? Which is fine. but then you got a friend that is also sending you a Venmo to your business account. The problem, what's going to happen is on your 1099K form that you're going to get from Venmo, it's going to show all the payments that your customers paid you via Venmo, but it's also going to include your friend, right, that paid you via Venmo. So that's why you don't want to commingle personal and business. You want to keep them separate. So now what's going to happen in that example is, just say your total 1099K shows $10,000, right? But $1,000 of that was from your friend. Now you got $10,000 of income that you got to report. And now you're going to have to explain why there's $1,000 missing, right, on your tax return. So going through an example here on the tax return, and most people, they're going to get these 1099Ks. They might be bigger businesses, but like the Uber drivers, the Lyfts, Airbnb hosts, you might have like a Schedule C here. So on this income here, this line 1 income, in this example, I show $75,000. Just say Bueller Consulting received a 1099K and it showed $80,000, but they only show $75,000. They're most likely going to get a letter from the IRS saying, wait a minute, we got a 1099K that shows 80, you're showing 75, where's the difference? You're going to have to explain that. So in that Venmo example, you're probably going to do an itemization and you're only going to show $9,000, right? Where your 1099K shows 10,000 because 1,000 came from your friend. You're going to have to explain to the IRS where that other $1,000 and why is it not included in your tax return. So that's the 1099K. I'll go back to my original slide here. The rules started January 1st of 2022. And just be cautious. I mean, the IRS is going to be expecting these companies to issue hundreds of thousands more of these 1099K forms than they have in the past, because the limit now is $600. Before it was $20,000. So it's a lot less. And the IRS is now expecting to catch more people not reporting their income. So what I always say is, if you get paid, whether you get a 1099K or not, you report that income on your tax return. That's the best way to be in good hands with the IRS. So let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.